out. Hi, Merch. Hi, Rodrigo. Merch, I sent you an invite to speak. Does it work? Rodrigo, I put you on the stage. You need to accept the invite. Hi. Good, good. The trouble is you have to control that from mobile, so they don't have that for desktop, so you need to do everything on mobile.
Yeah.
That was Rodrigo, right?
Yeah. How's it going?
So where you dialing in from? Good, good.
Nice. From Mexico, Mexico City.
Oh, cool.
It's midday around here. So, where you? I hear that Germanish accent. Where are you dialing
Yeah,
from?
Germany. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, from Germany. Europe, we have 8 p.m. What's your local time?
Almost 1 p.m. It's 12:56. So,
Oh, okay.
like 7 hours delay.
Right. Oh, there's Caroline. Caroline, I invite you for co-hosting, if that's okay.
What was your impression in general about the amount of pieces that were minted in the RIPHEN event?
I've seen over 700. I think this will be subject later as well. I found it quite strong. Was a busy time, but that might be just me. Just let me check. Caroline, you're on mute. So,
Hi.
oh, hello. Good morning.
Oh, thank you.
What's your time, local time?
Just coming up on 9 a.m.
Okay. And there is Merch. Hi, Merch.
Hello.
We are sort of neighbors.
Yeah.
When you look at the internationality of the audience, we have Merch. Can I make you co-host as well, or did you not plan?
I did not
Do
really
you
plan
just
to
want?
speak. Anytime I jump into any kind of spaces, I get pulled onto the stage. It happens all the time.
Yeah, same here. I sent you a co-host just in case. And then there is one which I invite to speak at a speaker. So one has an invitation to speak. But they're on mute.
Hey all, how are we all going?
Hi. Good, good. Thanks for joining.
No problem.
Great pleasure. From where are you dialing in? I'm asking everybody where they are located.
I'm dialing in from Australia, so it's horrifically early in the morning here.
Oh, poor you. Sorry about that. Same with Beat. It's 6 a.m., right?
For him, yes, it's 3 a.m. for me. So.
Oh, you're joking. No. Are you crazy?
Well, we said we'd attend, so I said if I was up, which for some strange reason I am, I'd attend, so dialing in, but if you start hearing snoring, that's all me.
and it's fully appreciated and understood. No, thank you very much for making that happen. Interesting times, and it will be great to hear some background from you guys on the event or in general. I think it's a good opportunity to sort of review where we come from, where we now, and where this might be heading. Always a great opportunity to look back and a little bit on the overall picture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was interesting to see a post today where I can't remember the poster at this point, but certainly got a lot of likes, where they noted that despite the fact that, you know, FTX is dominating the entire market as a discussion right now, if you were on Tezos, you wouldn't really note it that much with how much events on Tezos are succeeding and how much the community is actually going forward.
Absolutely. That was like a different parallel universe. It was really strange. The news about FTX were completely, or still are, overwhelming, right? Reaching far down into mainstream. It's in all news and they have coverage everywhere. But here in Tezos, on the other planet, nothing of that. There wasn't even an NFT with Sam, which has a lot of memes created, but I haven't seen any, so people don't really care. Some, including myself, I didn't even know FTX, what they were up to, since when, how large, who, only through the news.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Kathleen Brightman, for a start, has been doing a reasonable amount of coverage on it, and obviously with her finance background, plus founder of Tez, or co-founder of Tez, you know, she's certainly well placed to speak on it. And you know, if you like, the point is that FTX was around a failure of centralization, and Tezos is all about actual, you know, quite pure, really, decentralization. So the point is, if you want to decentralize blockchain, do a decentralized blockchain.
Yes, and same with hicetnunc, which we will talk about later. It really proved that it was decentralized after it has been discontinued. In the meantime, Isi and Yuri joined, and I made you both speakers as well from Value Art. Hello.
Hello, Kitsia. Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for making the time. That's really great. I think you are sort of neighbors as well, dialing in from Switzerland, right?
Absolutely, yes, we're pretty much neighbors. Where are you located?
In Cologne.
Oh, okay, yes, and we're definitely neighbors. Lovely.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, we sort of started a little bit already. There is Maya. Hello, Maya. I invite you for co-host. Oh, can only have two co-hosts. I invite you to speak. This all has been done, as you know, has to be done on the mobile screen. So we have activated quite some speakers, and if anybody wants to speak, please raise your hand.
Can I please ask if we may also add Lichat? She's part of the One of One team, so I'd love to have her join us as speakers tonight.
That's Lichat Noir.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sure. Invite to speak. Here we go. No problem. Pleasure. Hello. Right. Yeah. The decentralization, I think, when we go back in time, the date which we all have been looking at was November, was that November 11th last year, right? When hicetnunc got discontinued, and there was a big shock going through the whole scene, which also created a lot of energy. And that energy then resulted, as we all know, in what we now know as Teia, and back then it was hicetnunc community. And in total, hicetnunc has been active for just 9 months, because it got introduced in March 1st when swapping was activated. We had some background noise, it's gone now. And Teia now is already older than hicetnunc front-end ever was. So from you, from Value Art, and everybody involved as well, you at some point in time had the idea to do yet another Rest in Peace hicetnunc, because as I understand, you did one before, earlier, right?
Yes, exactly. So this year was a continuation of a physical exhibition that we had last year. So we thought it would be nice, to extend it this year, and also have like this online events to include the whole community, across like all Tezos. So yeah, that it's definitely a continuation of last year, and we'd love to bring it forward in the next years and involve as many people as possible.
Right. So
fantastic.
sort of Memorial Day.
Exactly, yes.
And you're saying all of Tezos, so FX hash and object and everybody doing art on Tezos. And you also look at other blockchains, right? You're not concentrated on Tezos, you coming from the art perspective and do everything digital art. Correct? It's not just Tezos.
Correct. Yes. So for this event, it has been like a Tezos, but because Fake Will, we started on Tezos, but as our last initiatives, yes, we also are cross chain, and that's been the latest that we've introduced to this as of this season. And just recently we also had the Tezos posse with Fake Whale. So that was like our biggest initiative so far, bringing Tezos, to the further blockchains. So definitely, yes, to answer your question, we really do support multi-chain. Also, before, and I was on, sorry, I didn't mention on Nifty Gateway. We brought the Tezos posse to Nifty Gateway. So definitely, we really envision a multi-chain future, and that's really what we strive for.
Right, interesting. A lot of dynamic there as well. The wording of RIP, or Rest in Peace, had a bit of a sad tone for some, and then there came the additional hashtag Still Here Now. So they both
So
went in
nice
parallel.
blend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great to see, the whole community then also, using both hashtags. I just like to comment that, maybe some people felt that tone, but actually it was a celebratory tone for us. So, it's more like we believe like in the legacy that, you know, the early days set for what also it is today, right? Because it's not to say that it's dead. It's just like really in memory of the early days, that nostalgia that some of us have. So definitely a celebratory tone, I'd like to say. And yeah,
And lighthearted.
yes, exactly. Definitely lighthearted. And to add to you know, I love the fact that then also that both these hashtags actually melded together and increased the celebratory tone. And yeah, that's exactly like what we've been focused on.
Right, yeah. And when we think about it, it never went, right? I think I have to.
Exactly right. That was
It
pointed
never
out
went.
so many
Yeah,
times. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, oh, what's the largest, you know, sales category on object? Oh, hicetnunc.
and technically, just the UI went, and that really went because it has been switched off on November 11 last year. But in the background, and still today, we're minting objects, and this is forever, right? This is staying. Nobody can switch that off.
Yeah, you know, like viva decentralisation, right?
Yes, and that was at the time within a week or so. First, people were shocked, and they sort of, oh no, where is it now? All gone. Um, but then they realized that nothing is gone. You just need a way to look at it, and then a way to swap again, and here we are. There's still the old assets. Nothing is gone. New ones can be minted, and this is what happened. And we have seen a lot of sort of front ends which went that route and offered an alternative way to look and also swap objects.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
yeah,
I mean, the replacement website was up in how many hours was it? Like,
24 hours. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I remember like many people, and I think Craigo meant it the day after. Like Craigo was like, everyone was sad, and he's like, no, it will work again. And I meant it few days after. So yeah, it was on right away.
and that was super
4 hours.
proof. And everybody realized that this is really working. This is really what decentralization means with all the advantages. So
Yeah, it was the proof. It was the proof
the
that
proof.
no one thought was ever required, but was so definitive.
Yes, exactly. You didn't anticipate that. You didn't even think about it, but then it became real. And shortly after the hectic, everybody relaxed again. And then people started working, and that was great to see that energy, which now is Teia. And you still see the energy there. Like I said, Teia is older than hicetnunc ever was at the front end side of things.
Yeah, exactly. And the amazing thing is that I don't think anyone in Tez would ever stress out again, really, that much if a platform went down.
No,
because
and
suddenly they know what happens.
yeah, we've been there, and it paved the way for great diversity in how you can work with objects. And also, obviously, object.com became very mature in the meantime and is something which one would call professional. That has not been the case at times of hicetnunc, where it was all underground.
Yeah, exactly. Like the evolution is amazing to watch, and to note that there's so much more to come.
Yes, that will be interesting and good fun. But that I think that was important that we talked about that because it sets a little bit the tone for that rest in peace hashtag, because it's not really RIP in the sense of it's dead. It's more like the good old days. Nobody can bring them back. And they have been very special when hicetnunc was just weeks or months old. I remember I came to it mid-April, so 6 weeks after it went live, and I felt really, really late to the party. It was such a dynamic scene.
Yeah, and I think the lovely thing was so many of the OGs actually from that time turning around and saying what an amazing thing this last week was, because it felt like those times to them, which was really lovely to see. And I can see that Crago's posting, and you know, it's great to be able to have that, if you like, throwback once a year, maybe.
Absolutely, I agree. And, you know, also it was great these days. Also, we had the initiative also with Here and Now, with the online, you know, gallery with the digital Coleman that really, you know, showcased all the artworks that made the history of, you know, what Hen came to be today. Uh, so all this celebratory movement art that came out was just mind blowing, and I definitely like you said, Lucky. I would I can't wait to have it like every year actually. So
Yeah. I think a lot of people are looking forward to that.
absolutely.
Oh, that's great. That's really promising. And it's a day we can remember easily, November 11. Here in Cologne, it's the beginning of Carnival, so that's something completely different. But it's also celebration,
But
and I
similar.
think, yeah, it's similar. Yeah, very diverse, very loud, and a lot of fun, and that's similar exactly. And I think it's important that people understand RIPHEN is a celebration tag. It's celebrating what we
Absolutely.
have. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, and I note that Quarentes and Ornelius, although I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say your names properly, last names properly. Sorry, Jorge. And if I'm absolutely, you know, mispronouncing them. But it kind of reminds me of the Mexican Day of the Dead, which is both a celebration and reverence, if you like, honoring.
Yeah, with gratitude and respect to what has been, and it was something completely new and a revolution, and it's absolutely worthwhile to celebrate that and to bring that back into the intention, and also to document it. We see how easily and how fast-paced this space is and how easily things are lost. And it's really good that we have timelines and this sort of documentation, and obviously the art, which is
Moments
always,
of history.
yeah, snapshot in time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, in terms of the crypto art space finding its feet, that kind of, if you like, I think being able to go through the layers, like if you like the layers in time, is a fantastic thing to start to see happening.
And you mentioned that people from the early days also felt it was a little bit like time machine traveling back to where it started.
Yeah, exactly. It brought it, and the spirit of it alive for them again, and that was wonderful to see that feedback that they felt that way.
Now, and to the event, I felt the dynamic, and um, I might have been a bit special because during summer I wasn't present much, but the event sort of pulled me back in, and that tells something. But I've also seen a lot of people from the early days, new people, all aligned, like family again, and having fun with minting and also buying from other artists, like always.
Yeah, that's the best thing for us during the event, you know, seeing the support of artists among artists. That's
Yes, and the pricing was set in the beginning, so everybody was okay with the range, and it was
absolutely.
affordable range, and it was great art which has been shown and put out there.
And also like to think how it went right. And right on the 11th is actually when everything in the crypto world was crashing down. So we really like the crypto world was collapsing, burning down, and just to see the art community really like thrive, that was the best. Epic. That's gonna go down in history, honestly.
Again, right? Take two. Like each year. It's like, no problem. Look at this amazing celebration happening.
Yeah, and what a contrast. It was really heavy contrast, everything burning, and there was this party celebrating.
Absolutely.
Vive la différence.
I've looked at some of the tools, and we discussed earlier, is if we don't want to make this space here something of curating, because it's always biased, and I I get it. You guys, you do sort of exhibition, you curate, and everybody can look at it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, because in Fake Whale, so our history goes back, you know, we've been collecting, we started by collecting early like hicetnunc pieces in the early days, right? And that's where it all began. And actually last year with our first exhibition, the RIPHEN exhibition at the Valorant Gallery here in Switzerland, that's really what gave birth to Fake Whale, actually. And during the events, we use the NFT biker tool, which also, you know, is we've also used like also the one of one, use them for very, very successful events. It's just an amazing tool, really, for both for artists, but also for collectors. And I think that's what really helped also, you know, to drive the event. It was like the heart of the event. And in gallery also we had this monitor where, you know, in real time all the editions that were getting minted in real time were like displayed in gallery. So it was just great to have that online um, connection with the offline, right? And yeah, just it really added value to the celebratory events, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's really great, and it's a big support, I think, for the scene in general when things like that happen, sort of crossing the borders, making the art physical, but then also employ all the tools which are available to help people to navigate in busy times like an event. And events like this are always busy and a little bit hectic. It's easy to lose
Absolutely.
overview.
Yeah, and we don't want to lose overview of any art, right? We don't want, you know, sometimes the algorithm, Twitter, might benefit some people for engagement in respect to others. Instead, it's really a way to be as inclusive as possible, and that's what really we strive for this event, to be as inclusive as possible. Like you mentioned earlier, also the recommended price range. Um, it wasn't about, you know, price here. It was all about art. And yeah, I hope that this was transmitted to the whole community.
I think I shared a tweet where I collected the tools, including the NFT biker tool, to our space here. I hope that worked. Oh, yes, it did. And there is also obviously the tag functionality, the tagging within Teia front end, and the RIPHEN tag also shows you in chronological order with the newest on top what's been minted on Teia. And the funny thing is, but this is typical as well for events, that things are still being minted, right, with the hashtag. So people joining a little bit later, and it sort of fades out. It never stops at the day when it's supposed to stop.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is great. I mean, why not? There is not a hard stop, and all of them are celebrating Teia and the Tezos community. hicetnunc, sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's great. You know, it's good to set like the time for the event and everything, but also to see it after the events, just to continue. And at the end of the day, that's really what, like, even when there's not the events in action, there's always a legacy, right? That's always going forward day by day. So no time to like stop art. So it's good to see it continue coming in.
Yeah, and mentioning Teia, I found it interesting that the name Teia as such has not been mentioned. It was not necessary. People know it's out there, but it's not needed to stress that fact. We celebrated hicetnunc, and we all know where we come from, but it was not needed to point to Teia. And that I found interesting, and it gave the focus to where it belonged, to hicetnunc, and this is what the celebration is about on that day.
Yeah, absolutely. And,
absolutely. The celebration's definitely about, you know, the past, the present, and the future. So that was the main goal.
And I think it was also really interesting that we're starting to, if you like, form up the building blocks of what makes for us.
I wanted to ask, like, also if anybody in the crowd had anything to add, like how they felt during the events. Anything also maybe the 1-of-1 team wanted to add. Yuki.
Yeah. Oh, Izzy, can you hear me, by the way?
Or anybody in the crowd, actually, like if you have any questions. Sorry.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like, yeah, I hear you. Izzy, can you hear us?
Yes.
I think
no. Yeah. No.
Uh-oh.
Izzy
might have lost us.
Okay.
Let me text her.
Okay. All right. So I was just going to say, in terms of the event, we're forming up, or we seem to be forming up, kind of some of the building blocks of what makes for a successful event. We're kind of starting to wrap our heads around that, I think, as we continue to do these. And you know, that.
Sorry, I removed myself from Wi-Fi. Do you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Izzy.
Okay, sorry about that. Having some tech issues.
Okay, so Izzy, what I was just saying is,
I'm back.
Excellent. You can hear me?
No, I don't hear anybody anymore.
Wow.
No.
Oh my god.
Maybe. Okay.
Someone should DM her.
Noir, you on this?
Well, that is pretty awkward. Wait, I'm
yeah.
come back.
Yeah, I'm texting Izzy. Hold on, I'll tell her to disconnect and connect.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Maybe we should go on with some other discussion until Izzy is back in, or otherwise she's going to miss out on a discussion that I think she should probably very much be part of around, how we form up a successful event and what those building blocks are. Yeah. So let's just wait for that. Did anyone else want to speak in the interim? Yuki?
Yeah, I can take the word just a bit. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I felt during the event, remembering these days of Hen, it reminded me a lot of why I started minting on the Tezos platform, as a way of inspiring me with the work that all the artists around are doing, what they are creating, the techniques, what they are saying. For me, it was this piece of joy back into my heart, that knowing that the sisters and brothers that I had are now scattered all over other marketplaces and still doing, right. But that's the important thing, that we were still doing, and that remembering those days, it was such a joy.
Beautiful
Thank
to
you.
hear.
Yeah, and briefly coming to what you said, what makes a successful event, I think you agree that this was one, right? This was a successful
100%.
event. Yeah.
Very successful event. And again, another successful event on Tez in the midst of a bear market, right? So, what are the elements of that? And there are some things around the community coming together. The community, if you like, not being particularly dependent on fat walleted collectors. The community being based in artists choosing to create and celebrate together. Teasers, so getting people in all parts of the community, like those little chickens that we had running everywhere for the first week without explanation going on. The blending of the virtual and the physical, which was possible through the actual physical exhibition going on in Lugano via Value Art and Fake Whale, with the overall virtual event, and the ability to take that virtual space through those dedicated screens and show that virtual space in the physical space. So that two-way street. For me, lots of interesting kind of building blocks, if you like, coming out from it. Would love to hear from you all in terms of your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that really
And I think
became
Margaret's
apparent that this is a strong and clear organization. So people knew what to expect, artists knew what the event was about, and how they wanted to participate. And also the tools these days help a lot to maintain overview what's happening and how dynamic it is.
Yeah, so, again, absolute building block, being Biker's tool. Noir, are you looking to speak?
Yeah, I'm trying to. No, it's okay. I just wanted to add that what was also interesting about the event is a curation perspective, right? Because on the physical gallery, there were curated pieces, but at the same time, there was a monitor for NFT Biker, which for us in a specific was very interesting because on one hand, you have the curated works, but on the other hand, there is a screen with all the works in the event, which is kind of like tying everything that is happening online physically and adding another aspect to curation. And also, we didn't have the Tickle magazine with us today, so you couldn't join in, but also it's worth to add that they were part of the event, and they also had a monitor with all the editions of the tickle. The covers were curated as well. So that was kind of celebration also with what happened last year and the projects that came after and the projects that started during and like here now. So yeah, I think different projects in the space coming together and collaborating was one of the main reasons this event succeeded, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, obviously a lot of organization and planning went into that from your side, right?
Yeah, I mean, because it's kind of connected. Like in the one-of-one, we already we have Wiley from the Tickle magazine, and we have Beat from Here and Now. When we started the initiative, they were already part of the team, and then when we collabed with Fake Whale / Valua Art, it was like sort of all of this coming together. And of course, NFT biker tools are always a great. I mean, like I would say the major part of any event, because it makes it easier to collect. It makes it easier to see the works, and if platforms went down from the pressure, you can always go to NFT biker. And on another hand, for us too, because if you want to make when we'd love to make art threads, showcase the works that are available for people to buy, it's easier to find the works on NFT biker tools. So yeah.
Yeah, a huge thank you for all involved here in the space, but also in the background. There is work which goes into that beforehand, and the success of the event obviously tells you that it was worth it. We have not. Yeah.
I just want to add, I see Izzy's back on speakers, so can you invite her to speak, because she's trying to request, but seems that it's glitching.
Who is that? Sorry?
Izzy from Value Art.
Okay.
So she's back now, finally.
Oh, that's
hopefully
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me find her. Here she is. Invite to speak. Should be now. And if there's anybody else, please raise your hand. We are sort of cozy group here. Happy to have other people speaking, telling their experience with the event, some feedback. Yeah, we don't see these kind of consolidated events with the building blocks you mentioned that often. So it feels little bit new. Not the individual building blocks, but maybe in its totality that it's such an orchestrated effort.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've actually been very lucky with the people, the people who have come together in the one-of-one team in this way, in terms of not only has everyone worked together very well, and in terms of who's in that team, bikers in that team, the Tickle and Wiley are in that team. And in fact, our logo is from the Tickle team. So thank you very much yet again, Monochromatal, for that. And Beats Here and Now is part of the team. Obviously, Cableen and Wise, and NFT Biker himself, along with Noir, Goldcat, Lawrence, etc. And so not only is it a case of, those people are all fantastic community members, but the fact that they get contacted, by other community events, and other, movers, if you like, in the space, such as Value Art and Fake Whale when something is going down, Kika, Annabelle and Jorge, all this, means that we can, if you like, if something comes across, it becomes easier to move parts into place to make it work for hopefully the whole community. You know, so I think hopefully we'll see more and more of that kind of stuff starting to happen. Like, we were delighted during 101 when we could collab with you all at Teia and you know, do spaces and posters and an overview in Spanish. You know, that was also a wonderful thing to see. And with Kika, you know, the Brazilian community starting to come in. It's and with Noir and some of the curators who have signed up to say, yes, we'll help out with the African community. It's like the disparate elements are starting to figure out how to connect together.
Yes, great that you mentioned that. And Teia, what the community wants to be as inclusive as possible as well, and goes great lengths to achieve that. It's currently all happening in Discord. Not sure if all people are happy with that, but it turned out to be the best alternative. And also, when we think back to November 11, it all had to happen quickly. There was so much energy, and this is where it all still happens now. Finding the name was a big challenge. Then
If I may say, I'm sorry to interfere, but I understand the sentiment about the name, but at the same time, it didn't strike me as sad, right? Even it's not the first time people would say RIPHEN. I mean, it's written most of the time, even in tweets, but it's never said with a sad tone, maybe nostalgic tone. And I think that's why whenever there is an event on Tezos, everyone goes running trying to get this feeling or nostalgia of the early days. And I mean, like, people are in love with the UI of Hen, which is now Teia, and how it was working and how it's different from other platforms. But I mean, personally, and my friends, it didn't strike us as sad. And when Valua Art contacted us, also, like, I remember I said, okay, this might be controversial, but looking at the exhibitions they had last year, it was interesting too. Like, I feel the whole point of this event, other than the nostalgic feeling, is also going forward. And I think, I'm not sure if it happened before, that we have a minting online event with a physical gallery that's trying to be as inclusive as possible. And maybe I'm biased because personally I'm very excited about bringing anything in the chain to the in real life world, right? Especially in a non-traditional sense, in a more innovative sense, or trying to connect not only in the terms of curating works, but also bringing events or what's happening in the community to the physical world. So yeah, I mean, that's my point of view, but I would love to hear everyone, of course.
yeah, I just wanted to mention Discord, right? Obviously, everybody is invited to take part, and it's a community thing. Teia, not owned by anybody, decentral, like the Twitter account we're hosting from now. It's all owned by the community, which is everybody and nobody at the same time. And there is a section for events, and people think about what's coming up, what might be an event. Do we kick something off? Will it just happen anyway? So there is soon, I've seen 800,000 objects, for example. You you can't do much about it. That will probably happen automatically, these kind of things. But the nostalgia you mentioned, this is important, and this is where we are all coming from. Now, to be inclusive, that's really a challenge. And from the community perspective, we can achieve that when people actively participate from all over the world, like you mentioned. And then we wouldn't have that problem like we have now with the time zone, for example. There is always
But
somewhere
the time
noon.
zone is yeah, but we don't have an NFT time zone, right? We like in the one of one, for instance, the way we dealt with it, because like thankfully we're all located in different parts of the world and we come from different parts of the world. We were trying to have spaces in different time and different languages too. I mean, I speak Arabic, and we're French speakers, Arabic speakers, Portuguese speakers, Spanish speakers. So we tried somehow to utilize this within the way we organize the one of one, and we tried also to work via time zones. And I don't know if you know, guys, like the one of one, we have everyone has access to accounts. Sometimes most like you'd have 2-3 people online from the account trying to do something. So this is the way we try to work around the time zone. And also in RIPHEN we tried somehow, but because people were busy. I mean, this is a busy days for everyone. So Valua Art, and we tried also to support this as much as we can. And on the other side, I mean, you see Lucky, she's located in Australia, but she's online now, which is quite early in the morning. So yeah.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Yeah, I think Lucky has like an NFT time zone because she's always online. So
I have no idea what my time zone is anymore. I'm so confused that I'm awake right now.
I mean, like we were talking earlier, like, okay, I'll join in from the one of one if you're not up, but if you're up, join. And of course, I was 100% sure that Lucky will be up. Like, thank you so much, Lucky, because she's one who's handling the communications and taking care of the account most of the time. And she would like say, okay, guys, I know you have projects, focus on that. So like, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you, Lucky.
That's okay. I talk in my sleep to say no problem.
Yeah, and when it comes to future events or the probable events, you never know in advance unless you do plan like you guys did. Come to the Discord. It's open for everybody, and then you can either check or participate or see how events are developing. It seems to be a big difference if it's orchestrated from everywhere and participation from everywhere, in contrast to just being kicked off somewhere and then developing its own dynamic, which is nice and has worked, and it's sort of our base where it all came from the underground. But to have it.
But if I may say something, sorry to interrupt you, I do know that Valua Art has communicated with Teia, or at least from my understanding, but maybe not Discord. I mean, I understand that Discord could be a little bit challenging for myself too, because I get anxiety from Discord. But I think the guys did reach out to you. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky in the one of one because we have people in the team who use Discord, so they keep us updated. But me personally, and I think lucky, Discord is for me. It's like I get anxiety. So yeah, but
no, absolutely. That wasn't meant to say that you didn't. It's just more the participation part of things. So everybody has a voice and can raise it there, and it's all on equal eyesight.
Absolutely. And, we're looking forward definitely to joining. I joined the other day, the Discord. So I'm looking forward also to being more active in the Discord community, the Teia Discord community. And, definitely looking forward to future events together.
Maybe I can join in quickly because I feel like I'm a how do you say it? I live in the Discord. My life revolves around the Discord.
So we'll be seeing each other there,
Yeah,
definitely.
just tell everyone who thinks about joining the Discord or who feels anxiety, because I fully understand, because it's a very, very big Discord, but this has a reason. It's a big operation we're running, so it's
Yeah, I totally,
Yeah.
because I joined Teia Discord right after, before it becomes Teia, but
Yeah.
I personally like, because it just like many people speaking at the same time, and I
Yeah.
personally get anxious. So the way I use it is just to get updated, and then, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's
No, I
personal
just
for
want to
me.
give some tips maybe for people that feel this anxiety. Maybe I can help a little bit with that. I'm in the beginning, like in November, maybe another nostalgia looking back, there was so many people on our Discord. It was really, really chaotic. In a good way also, but it was very, very loud, noisy, a lot of opinions clashing, heated discussions and stuff. So there was this
Yeah.
social aspect which has very much calmed down. Like it's a lot calmer now. But what we still have is hundreds of channels for every, like, because we need a lot of working groups, because I don't know if everyone knows, maybe I just talk a little bit about this. No one gets paid at the moment, right? So we are all like volunteering a few hours per day. So we need a lot of people in order to get the operations running. So it means we have a lot of different channels for very specific parts of the operations. So it gets really chaotic if you just look at all the channels. But what I try to advocate for people that feel that anxiety is, pick one or two channels that are interesting. For example, if you, I hear, would, for example, like to participate in events or setting up events, we have one channel for that. And then maybe just stick to one or two or three channels that are really interesting, and then ignore all the rest, because there's a lot of noise that you will probably not be interested in. And also we have very, very nice and active moderators that all are very happy to point you into the right directions on the Discord, because it's like it's a little city, I would say. Like, you need to know the streets a little bit.
Thank you, Merch, for explaining that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important to point out that there is this events channel within that huge Teia Discord. And yeah, it would be really nice if you visit that and voice your opinions. And it can then be, it's better to collaborate. It's sort of like project management tool for Teia. This is where everything happens.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tech talk also in the dev channels, of course, that I, for example, also can't really understand. So you have to know a little bit what department you are looking for.
Yeah, right.
And
Sometimes it feels like another language. Like first time I joined Discord and I went to all these channels, I'm like, I don't even understand this language. It's like a completely new language.
yeah, I fully get you. But you don't have, like, yeah, all I'm saying is you don't have to. You only have to know which channels are interesting, and everything else just can be ignored.
Definitely. And speaking of collaboration, I mean, at the 1-of-1, we're open to everyone whenever like you have an idea and we can help you guys, just reach out to us and reach out to anyone of the team. We discuss together and we see like in all projects, usually the entire team, if they are busy, they cannot be there, but there is always at least someone available to collaborate and to see what we can do. So yeah, let's like see what can happen in the future.
And the other interesting aspect of Discord is that this is where hicetnunc continues to live, and you can watch it live developing. It's really amazing to see all these knowledgeable people getting together to keep it moving and to keep it running. And you can look behind the scenes. When you understand the language, obviously, when you go into a door, which is some sort of channel, and and then you can see what's happening there and how it's being kept alive. There is no secret. It's all open and community.
So, curiosity, what events are coming up?
You mean now directly from Teia or in general?
Yeah, what's being planned in that Teia events channel?
So I think maybe Carolyn can speak on that a little bit. But what I would like to plug, if I'm up here already, we are mostly focused on fundraiser and charity events at the moment. And at the moment, there's 3 fundraising events that are running, and I would just like to drop them quickly. They're still going on the donations for Ukraine. We have one event for the Pakistan flood relief, and at the moment, one event in solidarity with the Iranian protests. So these are what we are mostly, at the moment, what we are mostly focused on. I think Carolyn has planned something for later. In general, what I have to say is mostly, I personally like the events the most that are coming directly, like from like organically from the community. And what we do is often we plug them, we promote them, or for example, I write the blog posts. Sometimes I can include them. Normally it's only once a month, so sometimes events are over already before I can even work them into blog posts. But yeah, this is what we're doing at the moment. I don't have the full complete overview over the event channel, I have to admit. No.
Yeah, look, it was fantastic to see the donation option for all of the works for those 3 fundraisers. And I love the fact that Tezos is not just environmentally activist, but it's also socially activist.
I think that is part of the hicetnunc spirit that really lives on through Teia, is our community feels very strongly about giving back and trying to help one another and help other people. So that is the main focus of the events that we have going on right now, aside from the anniversary memorial event. Teia is sort of celebrating its own journey a little bit because the name Teia sort of originated inside of the Discord discussions on the 17th of last year. So we're trying to renew a call for our rotating logo drive, as well as like asking artists to resubmit an SVG so that we can put together like a do-it-yourself kit for people to make their own like t-shirts or posters and branding across like the web or physical goods and things. Just sort of like an open source branding kit for the whole community. But beyond those things, we don't have anything planned, but I have kind of an idea for something next year, and that maybe I can put it to the floor right now and we can get some feedback. Well, so February, I was thinking maybe it would be fun to do like a Tezos-wide kind of event that focuses on like a hashtag around the idea Tezos is for lovers. So anyways, maybe that gets people, you want to discuss that. That could be fun for next year.
I can only give the heart symbol as the first response.
That's something.
I have to give the heart symbol to that idea, right?
Yeah. In general, I would say I feel like there's like in the last few months, there have been so many events coming from organically from the community. Like, I mean, we had one of one, we had a lot of Halloween events, we had this one here now, RIPHEN, and so normally I feel like this has also been one of the strengths of the whole community, that stuff just happens and some people just invent a hashtag and it just evolves from there. And that's what I like most about these events. So I'm not I hope we at the Discord, for example, or Teia in general, can provide a platform for these events. But I personally, I'm a big fan of keeping as much as possible as decentralized as possible. So giving out hashtags from a committee is not the best way, in my opinion. The best way is if stuff just happens, and we see this happening every once in a while, that just that events just pop up and get also evolve by people sharing them or adding their touch to it. I think those are, in my opinion, the best community events.
Yeah, I mean, organic happenings, if you like, are the heart of it, and I don't think any one of us would want to see that not happen. But also on the flip side, I think there's also reasonable excitement around the idea of maybe an events calendar where we could go and make sure that we're not clashing with sequencing.
That would be awesome if people came together to discuss this, because I've heard this idea flying around since, I don't know, since hicetnunc times already, that people are, of course, looking for a central calendar where everyone can look up what's happening, what's next, and what's coming up, and can I set my hashtag here, or do I clash with anything important or big? Yeah, that would be important to set up, but it would require a team of people constantly maintaining it, I think. And if we get a team together that focuses on this, we can totally, I think it would be awesome for everyone. So this would be a project we could absolutely set up.
Merchant?
Yes.
I am on it already.
Great.
Yes, so anyone, please come to the events channel in the Discord. It's kind of like the Switzerland of like Tezos communities, and everyone sort of swings through to talk about their events. So it's a must-visit channel inside the Discord, probably for everyone who's interested in events.
Sounds good. And spaces, that would be another thought. Some sort of way. I mean, I would love it if Twitter would do it, but, Twitter is very much embroiled on other things right now. Some sort of way of actually having a calendar for spaces so that we could turn around and see what was coming up there as well.
The challenge will be to find a way to, for the calendar, be it event or spaces calendar, for people to know they have to put their dates in and how they can do it. That so everyone is agreeing on a way of, like, on a workflow. But this is something we need to discuss in detail, not in a space. But yeah, it's a very, very important thing to have and to set up.
Yeah, we have not done much spaces in the beginning, yes, because there was a lot of information need from the community, and that helped to clarify things. But this one here, I think, is the first time this is coming from the curation channel. We just have 2 Twitter accounts, one for curation and one for community news.
I think the idea was everyone can put their spaces in that are related to Tezos. And so you would get a calendar where you can jump from space to space, or you can plan ahead of time which space you want to attend in general, like from anyone.
In the Tezos world.
Yeah, in the Tezos sphere.
Yeah, that would be great.
For Twitter spaces, are you sure about that? Because many times spaces just happen, I mean, yeah, I think it's in structural wise for important topics, it's doable, but people just do spaces. So yeah, I would love to see that happening. It would be interesting to see how it will turn out, for sure.
Exactly. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some sort of ancient, I'm not sure if it's a blessing or curse. Chinese, I think, may live in interesting times, and that's like, okay, well, that's the NFT in the art space in one little thread right there.
Okay. Okay, so anybody else from the audience maybe wants to say something? Please raise your hand.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Yuki.
Hey, Izzy. How's it going? It was very nice to hear you guys. Actually, I'm here in Lugano in the studio finishing a production. So it was very good to hear all these amazing words about the event and also all the related event that can come in the future. Also the Discord things is really interesting, and we for sure will dive in order, you know, to just follow and also support artists, which I think is the most important stuff to do. And I just want to say two stuff. So that the first is that I really remember November 11, 2021. It was, you know, a very crazy day. I remember in my phone buzzing that I think it was, I don't know, morning when I discovered the day after. And, you know, I was inside the Valor Gallery and I had a quick call with Sky Golpe, which is, you know, one of the most, it's a close friend right now. And since that phone call was, you know, crazy because we immediately think to organize within the creation of Jesse Draxler, which is an amazing artist too, and also collectors on hicetnunc. During that day, we decide to organize the first event. And also during that day was I was really fascinating about this community because I think it's an amazing story, and that's why I also come up during that days with the idea to realize a visual timeline and with a bunch of storytelling side for the book. So the book for me is also a chance to storytelling within an old medium such as a book, you know, this history, because, you know, for me hicetnunc was very important because democratized, you know, even for collectors, but most importantly for artists to create and also to collect. And, you know, since following also the early days with vertical crypto, all the EMA with also Raphael, and it was very, very, to me, also the community still is the place where we still can find the most creativity and the cooler artists. And also during this new RIPHEN event, it was amazing to see old faces, such as, I don't know, Sky Goodman, Sabato, and, you know, and within new faces, new cooler artists. So yeah, I really, you know, believe that it's important to storytelling this also to a wider audience. So also the book is a chance to me, you know, when we came out to speak within also, you know, fine art collectors, to prove that the decentralization, you know, and that community that was born with hicetnunc was really unique, and also to prove the evidence of how important is the decentralization for digital art, basically. So this, I hope you understand me.
Yes,
Yes.
thanks, Yuki. Very nice. That's not sure if everybody is aware Yuki is writing on a RIPHEN book, and that was what he's referring to. It was really nice to hear you talk about that experience, November 11, and how it connected to the event we just had.
May I ask you what kind of how do you research for that book? Like what sources are you looking at?
So actually, guys, I both, research on the GitHub of Teia. I was researching basically on this document that is on the blockchain, and I also mixing with some of the moments that I live by myself within, Jesse, Sky, another bunch of friends that we were collecting in the early days. So yeah, it's a mix. And also, yeah, the cool stuff is also that we will, announce, but I also would love to reveal here now, there is no problem, but the cool fact is that the book we will also have created piece from the RIPHEN exhibition, so to give a chance to the community to be featured in book. So I thought it was a cool idea, and I hope that I have answered to you, Merch.
Yeah, sure. Just super interesting because I sometimes I feel like someone should make a movie out of this, actually, like the whole events that went down and the drama. I think it's all there. So I was just
Yes.
wondering, how would you research it?
Yeah,
Thanks.
actually, it will be very cool, like within the next step, since also I came from video production in my, I still do video production, but, the cooler stuff, yeah, would be maybe creating a documentary, also to have the chance to have words from, Quasimodo to Robness to all, the people who live that early days, and also the devs, the part of communication, all the people. I also found a big atlas of all the people were involved in hicetnunc, and I'm also trying to visualize within the book this sort of atlas. It's really cool. I found it in the hackathon, maybe page or manifesto, and it's really cool to see a lot of faces that are already known in that days.
Thanks. Interesting. Very, very cool project, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Yuki, for sharing that. I think the community is thankful that somebody is making that effort, and that is you, apparently. It's a lot of work. Everybody can imagine. Well, we said there is a request. Let me check. Sharif, I put you on stage. Chat Noir, I think, was already. So anybody wants to raise their voice?
Hello.
Hi.
I try to talk with you. My English is very bad, but I try to listen and I try understand, but very, very difficult for me. So generally, I didn't understand, but I want to hello everybody.
Thank you. What is your native language?
My native language is Turkish.
Right. Okay. So okay. I hope you still enjoyed the discussion, the parts you understood, and the event, the RIPHEN event.
Yeah, I know this event because I started with hicetnunc 2021 April, so I know many things about Tezos ecosystem and hicetnunc, and I know this date is finishing. So I know many things, but you know, my English very bad, and I use generally the translate app for following everything about NFTs and you know similar things.
Your English actually is very good.
This is my
yeah,
first talking in space with English, and I didn't use English in my life. But you know, our education system generally try to learn our English. But if you didn't talk, you know, generally this is exciting and difficult and complex things. Yeah, this.
Yeah, thank you
And
for joining. Yeah.
if you have a time, I can try to explain my art or journey about hicetnunc and now on Tezos. Do you have a time?
Well,
Not.
I don't want to be unpolite, but we said we leave it within an hour, and people dialed in from time zones where it's really in the middle of the night right now.
Yeah. Not problem for me. I think only ask. Not problem. Okay.
No, thank you. Yeah. The purpose of this space, I think I think we had a great discussion. Thank you everybody for participating. I felt it was valuable time. I hope you did as well. We learned a lot of things. We got to know new people. We heard about very exciting book project, and also we got a good understanding on how you guys organize the events, how you organized this one. Thanks for sharing that. And for the future, we might connect closer within that Discord animal. But overall, we all connect closer, and that's never a bad thing. So I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So much
Really.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you very
Absolutely.
much for joining. That was a great
Thanks.
time. Thank you.
Thank
Speak
you, guys.
soon. Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
everybody.
Obrigado.
Have a great evening, day for everyone across different time zones.
Nice.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.